Here's how to perform the trick. All you need is a rope and a ring. The ring is already on the rope from the very beginning. You can use a bracelet as well. I happen to have these rings. It's ordinary, it's solid. And you can use a bracelet and have great results. Now, the key is to make it look as if the ring is not already on the rope. So what you do is gather some material or some rope here. Try and keep these ends fairly even. Just grab a little rope here and create something of a loop. And then make sure you cover this loop with your hands. As you can see here, it looks like the rope is just running through my hands here, and the ring is being held separate. But of course, the ring is already on the rope here. And that's pretty much the secret. So you just come out, have it pre-threaded onto the rope, and then all you have to do is just drop it. And it looks as if it mysteriously goes on the rope. And of course, at the end, everything can be examined. What you're going to need for this trick is you're going to need a tube. All it is a tube of very light cardboard that I've just rolled into a tube and taped everything together. Yes, you could use a paper towel roll. This one's probably a little bigger in diameter. Makes it a little easier to perform the trick, but you can certainly use a paper towel roll, even a toilet paper roll for this trick. And you're going to need a couple pieces of rope. You're going to need one longer piece and you're going to need one shorter piece. Now before the trick, you'll want to tie the shorter piece of rope into a double knot. Just like that. So that's a knot. This is the knot that's going to appear to come off of the rope. And it's all in how you take your rope and work with the tube that causes the knot that you tie in this rope to vanish, and you bring this one out later. Now here's how I did it in the demonstration. I took this fake knot and I placed it in this pocket here, someplace that I could easily reach it. And now you're ready to begin the trick. And pretty much all you do at this point is just tie a single knot, just as you would when you tie your shoelaces. And we have a close-up view now, so you can get a better look at how this part of the trick works. Do a little close-up here with tying the knot and making it vanish. You have your tube here. Now you take your rope and, just as you would if you're tying your shoe, you make the X, place this under here, and tighten. Now I just happen to know that when I take this end, this is the one that will release the knot. If I take this end, then it will tie into a knot and not work. So you have to figure out which way you tie your knot here, but as you can see, you want to tie it the same way each time. So you can just follow what I did, and then you know that the one on the left is the one that you want to use. You feed this through, then you bring this slightly up, and then all you have to do is pull here, and this knot will undo itself. It's pretty cool. Right there. And as you can see, the knot has vanished. So the key is, once you take one of the ends and place it through the tube, and then slide this to the end, slide the knot to the end, and then pull it through, this knot automatically dissolves. But spectators don't know that. And as mentioned in the close-up view, you have to experiment with the way you tie it and figure out which end is the one that unties, because one of the ends doesn't untie, so it's a 50-50 thing. You want to make sure you know exactly how you tie it and exactly which end goes inside. But here I've fed the one end of the knot into the tube, And now I pull it through and the knot has dissolved already. The spectators think that the knot is inside of the tube here, but it's already gone. Now, you take your hand, you say you're going to sprinkle some magic pixie dust, or you can have a coin in your pocket that you come out and you touch to the tube. You can do it that way as well. So in other words, you would say you're going to use a magic coin, reach in your pocket, find the magic coin, touch it to the tube, and then when you go back in, you come out with the fake knot in your hand. So if I was going to use the pixie dust routine, then what I would do is just show my hand empty, reach in my pocket for some magic pixie dust, come out, the knot is in my hand, and then I would sprinkle it on top. And then at this point, you grab the tube with your hand with the knot behind the tube. It's actually towards the audience. And then what you do is you can pull the rope through and the knot is seemingly vanished. At this point in my left hand, you can see I have the knot right here against the back of the tube. Then I say, where's the knot? And then all I do is when I'm going to just take my hand and just kind of shake the tube. But what I do is I let go of the knot. So it should just look something like that, as if the knot fell out of the tube. So somehow within this seemingly magic tube, a knot has disengaged itself from the rope. Spectators saw you tie the knot, and the knot vanished and then came out of the tube. Here's how to perform the ring on rope trick. What you're going to need is a ring or bracelet, something you can borrow from the audience. It's completely ordinary. You're going to need 2 pieces of rope, a short rope and a longer rope. And you'll notice here, you wouldn't want to perform it this way, but I have a clear plastic container which will allow you to see what happens inside of the box where the magic happens. So, perform the trick. You take the short end, grab the end of the other rope, and then hold it just like this. To start, you show the box is empty. Then you show the rope. Remember here, you're actually holding the 2 ends together. This goes into the box. Now, the key here is the way I lay the ropes out. You should be able to see this, but right there, the short rope is resting on the edge of the box. Of course, spectators can't see this. And the other end is right here. Now you bring out the hoop or borrow the bracelet from an audience member. And of course, it is ordinary. Now here's what you have to do. You take the hoop and I find the end of the rope. I'm going to lay the opening of the hoop here onto the rope, just like that. So inside of the box, I don't know if I can show this to you without knocking everything over, but the ring rests just like this over the end of the longer rope. Now comes the acting. You wave the hand, snap the finger, all kinds of mumble jumble. And then when you reach into the box, notice my right hand is reaching for the end of the longer rope here and reaches for the short end here. So I'm reaching for these 2 ends inside of the box. So both hands reach for the rope. This hand reaches for the rope over here, and now I can bring everything out. And the ring has magically gone onto the rope. And what's really cool is that both ends of the rope have been outside of the box the entire time. Now, one thing to keep in mind when you do this trick, you want to make sure that people are at a lower angle. You don't want people to be able to look inside and be able to see your 2 ropes. And that's pretty much the only word of advice I can give you besides just practice and take this out there and have fun. So that is the ring on rope.